This is such an absolutely wild take that it could only come from MSNBC. And depending on where you're at, and I'm not entirely sure when the rebrand goes through, but yeah, they're losing the NBC moniker and it's just becoming MS now because, yeah, you come to this conclusion, right? And I was shocked by this. Now, if you guys didn't watch my previous video on the day, over this past weekend, I was a little bit busy. Hot water tank in my place, it was leaking all over the place. Thankfully, it's been, repaired and all that stuff. So it ended up taking up a lot of my time from like Friday until about Sunday evening. So I was pretty much all wrapped up in making sure that my basement didn't flood. But thankfully, everything all worked out fine. It just needed to replace and repair a couple of parts. So yeah, that's why I celebrated my channel's 5-year anniversary. It's all fine and dandy. I don't really care about that stuff. But anyways, I ended up missing out about how popular and how mainstream this Cracker Barrel rebranding has been. I think that this is it's got to be the straw that broke the camel's back, because it's not the most egregious rebranding. I think that probably still goes to like Uncle Ben and Aunt Jemima, all of the hysteria during the summer of love. But yeah, getting rid of a logo that has character, a logo that has style, a logo that has been around since 1977. It's like, you better replace it. If you're going to do something with that, you better replace it with something good. And then you just replace it with modern soulless slop. It's like, well, that's not a good look. And then you go in and you fundamentally change what your restaurant is all about, where you have a bunch of tchotchkes and knickknacks and a really down home, down south, good old boy establishment, and then you just make it as sterile as a place that doubles in the evenings as a sanitarium where Tony Soprano would go visit Junior in penultimate episode of the series. Like, okay, that's a place that you can go. I don't necessarily think that'll work out well for you. But then you have a CEO come out and, go on Good Morning America and say, oh, don't worry, this rebrand where we're going to try to decolonize Cracker Barrel, has been met with overwhelming praise and thunderous positivity. And then the stock market opens and it totally nosedives. And then at the beginning of the week, it nosedives even further. But according to MSNBC, Cracker Barrel's new logo sparks a familiar MAGA outrage. Yeah, I would say at this point in time, it's quite familiar, quite reminiscent of Bud Light. I didn't think, when I did the video on a whim because I looked at that and it's like, I got a slot available. I'm going to take a look at this stuff. It's like, it's not necessarily the most egregious redesign that I have seen. Like the logo sucks and the new logo's terrible. Don't get me wrong, but you keep the color scheme, you tweak the font a little bit, but yeah, it's right there. It's in line with what every other hack redesign looks like, where it's kind of retro redesign, where it almost looks vintage, but it's updated for a modern audience. But then I seen a lot of other people chime in and go, oh, okay, no, this is going to be pretty significant. But lo and behold, like even my video, even though my channel's been in YouTube's bad boy corner for like 2 months at this point in time, second video on a Friday ends up accruing at this point in time nearly 11,000 views. I thank you all very much for tuning in for that, but I did not anticipate that. I didn't think that this would be such a big deal, but it is. Oh, but it is. And now that I can go ahead and piece this together, yeah, all of those redesigns and all of that rebranding, it does make sense. And to say that this is just simple MAGA outrage, guys, it really doesn't factor in that, and stupid box with their autoplay videos. But yeah, Cracker Barrel loses $143 million in market value after the rebrand. They'll call it a woke brand fiasco. But, if you just take a look at it, if you take out statements from stupid CEO Julie, or should I say, future former CEO Julie, but it's another one of those sterilizations where it really is another one of those steps along the way to everybody wearing the gray jumpsuits and choosing not even what color of slop you're being fed, but what your temperature is. Like, everybody gets to drink, a glass of water, but you can choose if it's room temperature or if you can have 1 or 2 ice cubes in it. But the other thing is, like, if there was another restaurant, and I'm just trying to think of one that is of similar footing as Cracker Barrel, your kind of entry-level family restaurant. Like if Applebee's, like if Applebee's had a modern update where, we wanted to keep some of the stuff that ostensibly is Applebee's, but you wanted to go for a more modern take on things, a more modern, clean approach to it. That might have passed the smell test. This just happened to be the worst chain restaurant to do that with. And well, $143 million later, do you think that the message has been received? Because it's definitely been sent, but let's take a look at this. Cracker Barrel investors are, yes, still taking a cautious tone, despite the restaurant chain's mea culpa on Monday over its brand remake. Yeah, because shares ended the session fractionally lower, but have lost over 10% since the announcement last week, erasing over $143 million in market value. Jesus Christ. Yeah, because taking a look, okay, over the last 6 months, it's been a, big old uptick, right? Things were looking good. Things were actually looking pretty damn good prior to the rebrand, and then all of a sudden, whee, Six Flags, motherfucker. So you take a look at that, and you just wonder, it's like, okay, cool, what were you doing earlier this year that theoretically started to work, and now you just decided to throw away all that goodwill, okay? And even just going back to this MSNBC article, oh, it's all MAGA outrage, all of those MAGA snowflakes, oh, they just can't stand not being catered to. Now listen, the audience and the customer base for Cracker Barrel is very obviously, as it's described here, as everybody knows Cracker Barrel to be, the chain, a southern-themed restaurant found off highways across the country. It is for the heartland people of America. They know what they want, they like what they like, and unless you fuck with them, they will stay out of your hair. And it's just like it was a couple of years ago. If Bud Light hadn't signed up a tranny, things would have been fine for them, but they decided to take things a little bit too far, and Cracker Barrel is finding that out. But for this to just simply be laid at the feet of the predictable mega outrage machine, while some on the left seem to be criticizing the aesthetic change, many mega enthusiasts and armchair pundits on the far right have read far more into the change. So yeah, well, thanks MSNBC. The reasonable lefties out there are criticizing the same stuff that the megas are. It's just, you know why? You know why those maggots are worse? Because they have red hats and they live in flyover states. But if you just vote the right way and you say that the new logo is cringe and the new sterile aesthetic lacks the heart and soul that the old brand used to, then you're totally fine. Yeah, it's just to say that MAGA killed Cracker Barrel. This is the same old predictable conservative outrage machine. It has worked once, and honestly, Bud Light back in 2023, that was such a failure that it was universal. This Cracker Barrel response so far is looking universal. If this was just simply one specific group, this would have already been done and dusted. This is what I was thinking going into this on Thursday. It's like, oh yeah, this is just going to be like a one-off issue where we can just point and laugh at the stupid company with another stupid rebrand, just chalk this up to another soulless rebrand. But no. This one's worse because now they released a response to the public, and yeah, it really does have echoes. It's like poetry, it rhymes. Because it wasn't that long after the Dylan Mulvaney stuff that CEO, oh god, I forgot the name of the CEO, but the American Anheuser-Busch CEO, the guy who used to work for the CIA, he came out and he also doubled down, and this is exactly what this is. So yeah, it's just gonna gloss over some of this stuff, or we might end up reading most of it anyways. Okay, so our promise to you, if the last few days have shown us anything, it's how deeply people care about Cracker Barrel. We're truly grateful for your heartfelt voices. That is already setting things off on the wrong foot, going, yeah, we hear you. It's just that, just shut up. You're gonna go ahead and eat here anyways. Oh, pride cometh before the fall. You've also shown us that we could have done a better job sharing who we are and who we're always and who will always be. Interesting. Now, we didn't really want to know because, frankly, when you go to a place for dinner, or you're just hungry on a road trip and you want to stop on over to Cracker Barrel, you really give a fuck who the CEO is? No, I didn't think so. What has not changed is that we will never change, right? Except for like the aesthetics and the logo and the removal of history, right? Are the values that this company was built on when Cracker Barrel first opened in 1969. Nice, hard work, family, and scratch-cooked food made with care. A place where everyone feels at home, no matter where you're from or where you're headed. That's the Cracker Barrel you'll always find. Clearly, it's not because you're having to reiterate this because people are going into a Cracker Barrel, seeing this redesign and going, yeah, this is, I don't know this. Why are you doing this? This sucks. This isn't Cracker Barrel. The things that people love the most about our stores aren't going anywhere. Rocking chairs on the porch, a warm fire in the hearth, peg games on the table, unique treasures in our gift shops, and a vintage Americana that antiques pulled straight from our warehouse in Lebanon, Tennessee. We love seeing how much you care about our old timer. We love him too. Uncle Herschel will still be on our menu. Welcome back, Uncle Herschel's favorite breakfast platter, on our road signs and featured in our country store. He's not going anywhere. He's family. He gets to sit at the back of the bus, right next to Aunt Jemima and Uncle Ben. Wait a minute. While our logo and remodels may be making headlines, our bigger focus is on still right where it belongs, in our kitchen and on your plate, serving generous portions of food you crave at fair prices and doing it with the kind of country hospitality that brightens your days and creates lasting memories. So funny with that one. So yeah, all the shit that's gaining attention, getting a lot of mainstream coverage, the rebrands and the logos. We're still the same Cracker Barrel, except for the stuff that's changed. Meatloaf, chicken and dumplings, country fried steak sides that taste like Sunday supper, and yes, the world's best pancakes, and they're still here with a few new dishes joining the menu. What the fuck is this, man? Is this a press release or a marketing tactic? It's not fucking working, stupid. We also want to be sure Cracker Barrel is here for the next generation of families. Yes, because we need to update Cracker Barrel for a modern audience. That means showing up to new platforms and new ways, and always with our heritage at our heart. Yeah, it's so funny, right? Because we've been successful since 1969, and then all of a sudden we put a stupid white liberal woman in charge, and she fucks the entire thing up, where we have to release these double down statements where it's like, yeah, sure, we ain't changing shit. We know that you guys are upset, but fuck you, you're gonna eat here anyways, right? This is gonna suck for you, because there is fuck all else going on in the world right now. Like, there's obviously stuff to talk about. This is gonna be the big story for a minute, and this is not the best start for this long haul. At the end of the day, our promise is simple. You'll always find comfort, community, and country hospitality here at Cracker Barrel. Uncle Herschel wouldn't have it any other way. Exactly. And we can hear that through the gag we placed over his face, and we stuffed him in the barrel so you don't have to see him on our much more aesthetically pleasing new logo. Thank you for caring so much, and come see for yourself the country hospitality that makes Cracker Barrel feel like home. Love Cracker Barrel. You fucking idiot. This is not going to go well for you. Because, yeah, as Grums has it summarized, we know you're mad. The logo stays. We still have Uncle Herschel on the menu, and he will speak when spoken to. Otherwise, he will be treated like the rest of our former patrons. It is, in fact, the most half-hearted, wishy-washy walk back, and not a walk back I've ever seen. Oh yeah, that is 1000% fair, because it's like, yeah, we hear you. We don't really care. We hear you. And we're not going to change. Sucks to suck. It's going to be interesting, because yeah, this went out last night just after all of the stocks finished trading. Funny timing on that one. And well, we'll just have to see how this looks throughout the rest of the week, because guys, like I said before, I didn't really think that this would be a big thing, but now that we're starting to see all of this stuff, the stock absolutely plummet, and a shitty statement like this could very well end up being the Bud Light situation of 2025. And honestly, I'm here for it. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.